Now, to educational issues, where over 300,000 online applications for Gauteng Grade 1 and Grade 8s have been processed. The platform went live last Thursday. Gauteng Education says the system is performing well, but some parents are still struggling with it. It seems to be an issue every single year. The online admissions application, by the way, in case you haven't started, is going to close on the 14th of July. Gauteng Education Spokesperson Steve Mabona with us this afternoon. Hello to you, Steve. Good to have you on the show. So far, things going relatively smoothly. You're saying some parents are struggling with the system. Is that a parent issue or is that a systems issue?
Good afternoon, Gareth, and to all our viewers. To a certain extent, it's a user challenge, and we've encouraged parents to interact with our call center. Our agents will be in a position to assist them to navigate, because some parents are complaining about them forgetting the passwords, and you need to be registered before you can have a password. So we were guiding them that if you have registered, then you need to go and click forgot password, and the system will prompt you on how to retrieve back your password. But to a certain extent, we might have realized that there was a slowness of verification of the identity numbers, because we are linked with the Department of Home Affairs. So we have been interacting with them to troubleshoot when we have problems, because we can detect easily, because our officials are constantly in the system. They can see if there's a slowness or parents are struggling, and then we are managing to resolve that. But overall, the system operates very well. I mean, you can attest we have over 300,000 applications that we've successfully processed. And we encourage those parents that have not applied to access the system and apply there.
Yeah, and absolutely, because I feel like you and I are going to have a conversation on the 13th of July, because parents are now going to rush at the last minute and try and get their children registered, and it's going to cause an issue with the system. So please don't wait that long for parents and caregivers. Do it now. You've got plenty of time. Steve, I see some online reports as well, which I see you're commenting in regarding, what is it today? It's got to do with the flagging of bogus applications for Grade 1 and Grade 8. What's happening there?
No, what we are saying is that parents need to punish us with the home addresses, which are not forged, because we have realized that some parents tend to, borrow addresses. So schools will be in a position to verify the addresses, and those that are leasing, we have tabulated on what is it that we need to verify that you are leasing, because some will say we just want to use an affidavit, and which is not enough. So we need the owner to give a copy of the ID. We need a municipal document which assures us that one is paying there and there's an address, and the statement of any account that you might have bearing your name, which will then be assisting us to verify, because we have learned from the previous process. So we don't want to disadvantage people that stay closer to the schools, whereby we'll be allowing people who will be transported from different areas. Meanwhile, people that are supposed to be accessing the schools, they will be struggling. So that's what we are cautioning, parents not to do, because they will forfeit, that advantage in the event we find that the addresses are not what we have picked up, or what is not matched with what is in the system. Because we need to match what is in the system. When you upload your documents, it must tally with what you have provided. And we want to encourage parents as well to upload their documents, because it's going to be difficult for us to do any placement if we don't have documents.
I see earlier in the year, I feel like you and I might even have had this conversation, Steve, where due to an abnormally high number of applications beginning of this year and last year as well, resulted in many parents complaining to you and the department that their children weren't getting into their preferred schools as well. I imagine you echoing the call now that if you do want to try and get your child into a preferred school in an area, don't wait until the 14th of July. Get into the system as quickly as possible. Is that correct?
No, we are not saying that. Remember, it's not first come, first serve. We have regulations that we are following. It's quite clear. The closer you are to the school, that's how you're going to be, prioritized. And if there's a sibling in that school, or the previous school is not far from the school that you want to take your child to, you also are prioritized. Then the third one will be when you work very close to the school, and when you're within 30-kilometer radius and beyond, depending on the capacity, you can still be accommodated. So it doesn't matter on when you apply. You can apply on the last day, but if regulations favors you in terms of you staying closer to the school, we cannot disadvantage you and say, because you applied last for different reasons that we might not know, and you are disadvantaged. The system does not operate that way. We follow regulations to the core to say, if the criteria suits you, you will be in a position to be prioritized as per the criteria.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate the clarity on this. I think some parents were concerned that it had to do with when in the process you actually go and apply. The later you are, the worse it is for you. But as you say, that's not at all the case, Steve. So over 300,000 applications processed, as we see on our screen at the moment. Is there an expected number at the end? Is there an expectation of how many applications the department is expecting for Gauteng?
Yes, you'll remember, Gareth, that the applications do not actually say that you have a certain number of applicants, because parents can apply to 3-4 schools. So what we are giving you now is the applications, which might not be the true reflection of the number of applicants we have. So if we can hit around 600 applications, then we will be, saying we have a true reflection of what we will be expecting in terms of parents. Because if we can hit around, in terms of applicants, around 300, then we should be in a position to say this is the true reflection of the number that we're expecting. Then we'll be in a position to plan. That's why we encourage them to apply now, so that numbers will then dictate to say, how do we then plan? Our high pressures will be in a position to identify as early as now, and they will be in a position to augment on the plans that we've already, that we've already started, piggybacking from what transpired last year, to augment on what is it that we need to do in terms of additional classrooms that we must build, schools that we must build, mobile units that we need to, provide to those schools that need mobile units, and those that schools that probably are outstanding in terms of them receiving their mobile units. I mean, Gauteng, it's quite interesting because everyone wants to come here. That is because of the quality of education that we provide, and we cannot falter those that want to come to Gauteng.
Yeah, I suppose the problem is always going to be, is there space? But Steve, as you say, there's always plans in place. That's why you get the numbers and you can try and plan accordingly from there. Education spokesperson Steve Mabona, thank you very much, as always. So you can see it's over 300,000 applications for Gauteng schools. That's different. I didn't know that. It's different to the number of applicants because parents can apply to 3 or 4 different schools. We'll keep an eye on that number for you.